I added 8,000 steps to my fasting routine, expecting to feel hungrier and more drained. Instead, my appetite dropped, my energy stabilized, and my body started burning fat in places regular fasting never touched. My lower back rolls literally smoothed out in 3 weeks. Here's the crazy part. Walking during fasting flips a metabolic switch that keeps you torching stubborn fat for up to 6 hours after you stop moving. But only if you cross the 8,000 step mark. Less than that, you're leaving massive results on the table. Let me show you exactly why this threshold changes everything. Quick heads up, always consult with a healthcare professional before making significant changes to your exercise or fasting routine, especially if you have any underlying conditions. This is about sharing what works based on experience and research, not prescribing medical treatment. 21 days. That's how long it took me to realize I'd been leaving the best part of fasting on the table. I was doing everything by the book, hitting my 16-hour windows, eating clean, staying consistent, but walking. That was just something I did to get from my car to the gym. Then I started tracking, and what I found changed everything. On days when I walked 8,000 steps during my fasted window, my body composition changed faster, significantly faster. My lower back, that spot where fat loves to hang out, started smoothing out. My face looked leaner. Even my fingers looked less puffy. Same calories, same fasting schedule. The only variable, movement. Here's what's actually happening when you walk during a fast, and why 8,000 steps isn't just a random number. Your cells have this enzyme called AMPK. Think of it as your body's energy sensor. When AMPK is activated, it's like flipping on a construction crew inside your cells that starts breaking down fat for fuel and cleaning out cellular junk through autophagy. Fasting activates AMPK to some degree just by keeping insulin low, but walking during a fast, that's like turning up the dial. You're creating energy demand while fuel supply is restricted, which forces your body to get really efficient at accessing stored fat. But here's the critical part: it only works if you cross a specific threshold. Studies show that around 8,000 steps is where you hit peak AMPK activation without triggering stress hormones that work against you. Less than that, some benefit, but not dramatic. More than that, like 15,000 or 20,000 steps while fasted, you're pushing into territory where cortisol spikes and your body shifts into protect the remaining fat mode. 8,000 steps is the sweet spot. I've broken down the complete fasting protocol in the pinned comment. Check it before your next fasting window. And if this is already making more sense than months of spinning your wheels, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Now, the reason this matters so much for stubborn fat, your lower belly, love handles, lower back is because that fat is different at the cellular level. Stubborn fat cells have more alpha receptors than beta receptors. Beta receptors are like unlocked doors. Fat comes out easily. Alpha receptors are like doors with multiple deadbolts. They actively resist fat release. When you're just sitting around fasting, even with low insulin, those alpha receptors still fight back. Your body pulls from easier fat stores first and leaves the stubborn stuff locked up. But when you add walking, the combination of low insulin from fasting plus increased blood flow and AMPK activation creates a 1-2 punch that overrides those alpha receptors. I tested this on myself with a body composition scan. After 3 weeks of adding 8,000 steps during my fasting windows, my visceral fat and stubborn subcutaneous fat dropped at nearly the same rate. Before that, visceral fat came off while stubborn areas barely budged. The walking made the difference. So when should you actually walk during your fast? Most effective? First thing in the morning after you've already been fasted overnight. Your insulin is at its lowest. Your glycogen stores are depleted from sleeping. At a 60-75 minute walk at a moderate pace, and you're telling your body the only energy option available is fat. I do this almost every day now. Wake up, black coffee, 8,000 steps before work. By the time I sit down at my desk, I've already burned through stored fat that would have otherwise just sat there. Second best timing. Right after your last meal before starting your fast. A post-meal walk helps clear glucose from your bloodstream faster, which means you enter your fasted state earlier. Worst timing, breaking your fast and then immediately walking. Your body just got fed. It's going to use that incoming fuel instead of digging into fat stores. I'm curious what time you're actually walking. Are you the morning fasted walk person, or are you squeezing it in after work? Because everyone's schedule is different, and I want to know what's actually working in real life. Drop your timing in the comments. Maybe someone's routine will give you a better idea for yours. Here's something that caught me off guard. Walking during fasts actually makes fasting easier, not harder. You'd think creating energy demand would make you hungrier, but 8,000 steps at a conversational pace has the opposite effect. Moderate walking during a fast triggers the release of peptides that suppress appetite. Your body says, "We're active, we're accessing energy from storage, no need to signal for food right now." Before this protocol, I'd hit hour 14 or 15 and feel gnawing hunger. Clock watching. Now, I get to hours 16, sometimes 18, and realize I forgot I was even fasting. The walking shifted something in my hunger regulation. And when I do break my fast, I'm not ravenous. I eat a normal meal. No crazy binges. The walking makes the entire fasting experience more sustainable. Let me show you the ways people screw this up, because I've seen guys implement it wrong and wonder why they're not seeing results. Mistake 1. Walking too slow or distracted. 8,000 steps at a snail's pace while scrolling Instagram doesn't count. You need purposeful steps at a moderate pace, not sprinting, just a solid walk where you're working a little. Mistake 2. Walking too intensely. Some guys treat their morning walk like cardio, power walking up hills, heart rate at 150. That triggers cortisol spikes. Stay moderate. Conversational pace. Mistake 3. Not tracking actual steps. I walked around a lot today, doesn't cut it. Get a basic tracker or use your phone, because 5,000 steps feels like a lot, but it's not enough to hit that metabolic threshold. Mistake 4. Adding walking but eating more. Guys start walking, feel more active, and subconsciously increase calories to compensate. You can't outwalk a bad diet. The walking amplifies fasting. It doesn't give you a free pass. Mistake 5. Doing it inconsistently. Walking 8,000 steps 3 times a week isn't the same as 6 or 7 times. Your body adapts to consistency. Sporadic efforts get sporadic results. Here's exactly how to implement this starting tomorrow. Week 1. Wake up, drink water or black coffee. Walk 60 to 75 minutes at moderate pace. Track your steps. Continue your normal fasting schedule. Focus on building the habit. Week 2. Same routine, but optimize pace. You should be able to hold a conversation but feel like you're working slightly. If walking alone, you should feel like you could talk if someone called. Week 3. Take waist measurements and progress photos. Notice how your hunger patterns changed. Adjust timing if needed based on your schedule. Week 4 and beyond, this is now part of your routine. Benefits compound the longer you stick with it. Track weekly averages rather than obsessing over daily perfection. Most guys see noticeable changes by day 10-14, but give it the full 30 days before you judge whether it's working. I put some helpful fasting content in the pinned comment below. Grab it, use it, and if this makes sense and you want more strategies like this, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Look, fasting is powerful on its own, but if you're already fasting and you're willing to add one simple habit that amplifies every benefit you're already getting, why wouldn't you? You're already putting in the time being disciplined with your eating window. Adding 8,000 steps during your fasted state isn't adding difficulty. It's adding effectiveness. It's taking the effort you're already putting in and multiplying the returns. The guys who do this consistently, they're the ones who break through plateaus. They're the ones who finally lose that stubborn fat. They're the ones who feel the difference in energy and mental clarity. Not because walking is magic, but because it works with your biology instead of against it. The Kong lifestyle is about being strategic, understanding what actually moves the needle, and doing those things consistently without overcomplicating your life. Walking 8,000 steps during your fast checks every box. I've put the complete protocol timing, pace, tracking tips, and how to adjust based on your schedule in the pinned comment below. Grab it, use it, and if this makes sense and you want more strategies like this, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Go focus on the carcass. Move your body. Trust the process. You've got this.